What's up, YouTube? Good evening. Welcome in to the show once again. LastWord Productions. I'm your host, Tavares Wilson. And as you all know, always get the last word. Now, before we get into everything, man, if you're not doing so already, be sure to hit like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that bell notification to be notified whenever we do go live. And as well, man, remember the handle LastWord Productions on all over TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Look the name up. 9 out of 10 times I'm there. So let's get right into it. And the first thing we have to speak on, of course, we have to talk about the OKC Thunder being crowned this year's NBA 2025 champions. And first and foremost, congratulations to them. Big ups to the Thunder. They made it happen. They got it done. I said personally that if they did not do it this year, I don't know when the Thunder will win a championship, but that's all irrelevant. That's all in the past now because they did do it. So SGA, I said this on TikTok, I said again, SGA put together one of the best single seasons from an individual player perspective and standpoint that we've ever seen. Point blank period. He did. He scoring title, first All NBA player, MVP, a guy that Western Conference Finals player, NBA MVP Finals player. So he's a guy that's resume is filled at this point now. All it is now is about consistency. I mean, can he consistently be great? That's what it's going to come down to. And that's what's going to catapult him into conversations with the all time great point guards and guards in general. So big ups to SGA, man. And big ups to J Dub. And Jalen Williams, to me, impressed me a lot in the series. Thought he played well. And truth be told to you, man, I expected a little more from Chet Holmgren. He wasn't terrible, but he was all right. But at the end of the day, they won. There's nothing else you can say. Veterans stepped up, such as Alex Caruso, who came up huge for them in this series, man. I mean, we're talking about a guy who didn't have a 20-point game all season, and he turned around and had two in the finals. He's a guy that stepped his game up when they needed it most, and they did need it. They really did. And say the least, man, I think truth be told, when it comes to guys like Alex Caruso, when it comes to guys like Lou Dort, when it comes to guys like that, these nitty gritty, you know, tooth and nail type of guys, those are the ones you want on your team. And they showed it today. They played well, extremely well. And I think you gotta just tip your cap to them, man. And they're your 2025 NBA champions. You know, it's disappointing to see how Tyrese Halliburton's season closed. He ruptured his Achilles tendon. It is feared that he will be done all of next year. So that's terrible news for the Indiana Pacers. Hopefully things can pan out and he can bounce back and come back better. But right now it's not looking too hot for him, man. I mean, it's feared that he might be out 2027 as well. So we'll see. I'm not sure exactly what that timetable will be, but I know for a fact next season he's not looking too good. So with all that being said, man, I gotta give ups to the OKC once again, the 2025 NBA champions, man. So we gotta discuss some of these trades that have occurred, and we gotta discuss whether or not they're good moves. So first trade I'm gonna talk about, man, I gotta talk about the Kevin Durant trade again. KD went to the Rockets in exchange. The Rockets sent over Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green and a couple second round picks. Listen, I'm giving this an A plus for the Rockets. Point blank period. The Rockets did not lose anything of significance outside of maybe Dylan Brooks because you're replacing Jalen Green with Kevin Durant. I mean, you're replacing a guy who was supposed to emerge as that 25-point per game scorer for you, just never panned out that way, with a guy who you know is a walking 26, 27 a night. And I don't, at his age now, I mean, Kevin Durant last season was averaging 26, almost 27 points per game on 50 plus shooting splits, on 38% from the three and 87, 89% from free throws. So this is a guy who you know is going to come in and be an immediate upgrade as your number one scoring option. That's without question. Then you pair that with the depth you have, the young talent, the Thompson twin, Jabari Smith Jr., Sengun. Like you have pieces around him who you could as well put into place to make it work. And then you have the good blend of leadership and veteran presence with Kevin Durant and Fred VanVleet, who both just so happen to be champions. So they have a good blend of talent when it comes to younger and older, and they have a good blend of depth, and they have good coaching, great coaching even in the Ime Udoka. So I give it an A+, man. And it's no reason why they should not be competing for the West next season. There's no reason, like, we're being honest. They should be competing for the Western Conference Finals and pushing towards the NBA Finals next season. I truly believe that. So to get off into a next trade that occurred that kind of, it wasn't crazy per se, but it kind of threw me for a loop. And that was Drew Holiday going to the Portland Trailblazers in exchange for Anthony Simmons per se. Some picks were involved and stuff like that, but the main two components was Anthony Simmons and Drew Holiday. And Drew Holiday, as I said, it was reported he is not pleased at all that he's going to go play for Portland. I mean, who would be? I mean, this is a guy who has been on 2 championship teams in the last, 4 years, and he's going to basically get tossed to the side to go play for a team that essentially is just in no man's land at this point, man. I mean, of course he's upset about it. I mean, I would be too, especially if I'm looking to still compete and not just make money at this day and age. So it makes all the sense in the world why he's upset. But as far as the Celtics go, I'm giving the Celtics a B for this move. I think Anthony Simmons is going to come in and be a more natural scorer of the basketball than Drew Holiday was. They do lose defensive prowess with Drew leaving, but they got wing defenders all over that team, man. They'll be able to make up for it. But it is reported that they're also looking into possibly moving Derrick White or Jaylen Brown. So I don't think they move both of them. I'll be utterly shocked if they move both of them, but it's been reported. So I think the move for the Celtics is a B for me, in all honesty. And another move I want to talk about is excuse me, I just stuttered. But another move I want to talk about, man, is the Pelicans actually training for Jordan Poole, and they sent CJ McCollum and a couple picks for it. And let me look at the exact details. So the Pelicans sent CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, and a future second-round pick in exchange for Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and a 40th pick in the second-round NBA draft. That's actually occurring today. So if you're not tuned in, you go look at this. But for the Pelicans, this is a C move, C minus. I mean, Jordan Poole is good on a good day, but he doesn't move the needle for you at all. I mean, he's not that much better than CJ McCollum. And, Saddiq Bey is nothing to talk about more than once. So it's all right, I guess. But the last move I want to talk about as well involving the Celtics it was a 3-team trade that actually sent Kristaps Porzingis to Atlanta. Now, I want to talk about this from Atlanta's perspective because this could end up being just a D or a B. It's one or the other for me because if Kristaps Porzingis could get back into form, when he first came to the Celtics, he played a couple games. He was that 18 to 19 point per game big who gave you 7.5, 8.5 rebounds a game. I think it's an upgrade for the Hawks. But if he's still the same injury guy, which I think he will be, you're not really getting nothing, and you don't improve, in my opinion. I mean, I think he's just going to take away touches from guys like Jalen Johnson, who is starting to emerge and form into his own. So You gotta take those things in consideration. If a guy is going to be good for you and a good fit, he has to still be able to play well with those around him and still be on the court to produce. And so far, this last season, he just simply was not that. So it's unfortunate, but we shall see if it works out for the Hawks in their favor. So those was pretty much the four trades I wanted to discuss that took the world by storm. I already discussed the Desmond Bain trade. I mean, I thought it was a little steep. Not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I thought it was, but I think Desmond Bain is exactly what the Magic needed. And to me now, excuse me, to me now they just need a point guard. They go get a mature point guard, they'll be set, if you ask me. But another thing I wanted to discuss, man, I wanted to discuss this. Listen, let me say this first and foremost. This Kobe disrespect that's been going on needs to stop because there's no reason why Tracy McGrady should get online and type anything to sit here and say he could do anything that Kobe did. There's no evidence to show that. I don't care what the skill level was, the skill set, the technique, the shooting ability, dribbling, whatever. There's nothing Tracy McGrady did in his career to have us believe he could have done what Kobe did with Shaq. I'm not saying Tracy couldn't have won with Shaq, but to sit here and act as if that you could just plug and play Tracy McGrady with Kobe and you get the same exact results in three-peat, I'm not going for that. I'm not buying that one, bro. This is the same guy that literally had a pretty damn good team with Houston, with Yao Ming, with Shane Battier and those guys, and couldn't even win a playoff series. He couldn't win a playoff series. But we're supposed to believe you pair him with Shaq and you replace him with Kobe, that he's just going to automatically just mesh well with Shaq and play well with Shaq, and they could go on a three-peat as well. No, the part that people are misinterpreting and not understanding is at the end of the day, you still have to be able to play well with others. There's no evidence at all to show us that Tracy could have played well with Shaq because Tracy was never a Robin in any situation. He was always the one. The ball was always in his hands. He wasn't throwing it to the post to anyone consistently. Kobe deferred to Shaq because he knew Shaq gave him the best opportunity and chances to win it all. That's the difference. Do you believe Tracy McGrady could have done that? And my answer is no. So we gotta stop making it seem as if dudes could just simply be plug and plays in every situation. It'll just be the same or better. We cannot just assume that all the time because at the end of the day, you still have to see it get put on the film and on the paper. You feel me? It still has to be shown. It still has to be shown. Tracy, all the respect to Tracy McGrady, he's a hell of a player, a hell of a talent, but he would never forget just if he would have won with Shaq. He could have, Tracy McGrady could have won 2 rings and he wouldn't even been over Dwayne Wade, let alone Kobe. Let alone Kobe. So let's slow down to this Tracy McGrady, Kobe's talks and all this shit. We gotta slow down, man. We gotta slow down. And and for one, I just think it's completely unfair to someone like Kobe. I think it's completely unfair to someone like I don't like any other all-time greats, man, that sit there and win rings and people sitting there say, oh, well, if I had this, I could have did what he did. It's always woulda, coulda, shoulda. What did you do? That's what it comes down to. What did you do? Did you win rings? Were you the biggest contributor to winning the ring? Was you the one? Were you the two? Were you Batman or were you Robin? Like those things matter. The context matter. Like we could sit here and argue and dispel all these points until we blue in the face, but at the end of the day, Tracy McGrady had good teams. He fell short with them. Point blank period. He fell short with them. There's no other way to look at it. He fell short with them. But I don't know, man. I think it's just unfortunate, man, because It's just to me telling that a lot of people don't really look at the nuances of the game. They just simply look at a person dribble and shoot the ball in the hoop. That's all they look at. Look at a person dribble and see if they can make the ball in the basket. Not whether or not someone could play well with someone else, not whether or not they'll have decent to great chemistry, whether someone is willing to take the back seat to let the other dominate. It's that's not what people factor in. It's not. But let's go off into the next topic, man. I want to talk about James Harden getting his jersey retired coming up with the Houston Rockets, and it's most definitely deserved. This is one of the greatest shooting guards to ever play the game. It does not matter where you have him ranked. He's one of the five best shooting guards to play. And to me, it's not even debatable. James Harden is one of the greatest scorers this game has ever seen. He is probably the greatest isolation scorer this game has ever seen. Talking about a guy who brought Houston out of dark ages, pretty much. Like he brought them back to prominence, like playoffs series consistently. Never missed the playoff series or playoffs in his career. This is a guy who, when it's all said and done, is one of the best guards this game has ever seen. One of the best playmakers this game has ever seen. One of the best shooters this game has ever seen. He's that damn good. So to see his jersey being retired by the Rockets is more than deserved. If we're being honest, it's more than deserved. I know a lot of people gonna bring up the fact that he didn't win nothing with Houston. I know a lot of people gonna bring up the fact that he had a lot of, you know, below average playoff performances and series performances. At the end of the day, you can't name three other guys that put on a Rockets uniform that was better than him. You can't name three other guys who are better all-time Rockets than James Harden. He deserves to get his jersey retired. Point blank, period. So this is gonna be a short episode this week, guys. Man, not too much for me to speak on in terms of the things that I've already spoken on. I've said my point. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Be sure to go ahead and hit that bell notification. Be notified whenever I do go live so you can tune in. As well as the fact that, remember, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Look me up, the handle, LastWord Productions, 9 out of 10 times. I'm there. All right. See y'all later. Peace.